Hey, I'm Dean and this is Legacy Voyage. In Season 1, I'm documenting my journey to earning my first 100K net worth as a full-time college student. Join me as I share some of the lessons I learned along the way.
After reading this phrase, it completely shifted my mind and made me question my priorities. Like, what are my actual priorities? What's number one, number two? Because my entire life, I've always lived by what I thought were good priorities. So for me, I would use these priorities as a way to make decisions. Like, for example, a while back, I remember this very vividly. My cousin was graduating and I was in school and I really just wanted to finish up school and get it over with and just stay there instead of coming down over the weekend to spend graduation with my family and with my cousin, because this was finals week and I had a final on Friday. And because I had a final, I was like, okay, you know what? I probably won't be able to make it. So I called everyone's like, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it. But then I remember this. So after wrapping up the final was at 9 in the morning on Friday. I wrapped that up, finished at 10, and then grab some food, probably head out to the gym at like 12-ish. And around that time, right before I was heading out, I got a call from my cousins. I picked up the phone, I was like, hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I couldn't make it. And they were clouding on me, Dean, why'd you come? Why'd you come? I was like, oh, I just can't. I have to say, get things done. And then they told me, it was like, Dean, where are your priorities? Because that's something that I would always hit on over and over again, even with them. Whenever they skip like family functions or reunions for sports or something like that, I would always say, bro, where are your priorities? And then they flipped it back on me. They're like, Dean, where are your priorities? And then after they said that, it was like a light bulb went off. It was like, okay, you know what? My cousin is not going to graduate again. My entire family's over there. Why am I not going? I already finished up my final. I had no excuse. So I went to the gym, got back around 1 or 2, packed up real quick. And then it was time to figure out how I'm going to get to the airport. Airport is like, it's about a 30-minute drive. But by train, it's almost hour and a half. I'm trying to figure out, calling up people, hey, can you take me to the airport? Are you busy right now? Everyone's like, either didn't pick up or like, nah, I'm busy. Because it's finals week. Everyone's studying. Everyone's trying to ace it. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to send it. And so I just walked out the door, headed to the nearest train station. And that was probably the most difficult part of the whole trip, because I did not figure out this train stuff. It was so confusing trying to figure out, I get off there, and then after that, I have to transfer this train, but I wasn't sure which train it was, which direction I had to go in. And it was a whole fiasco, but eventually I was able to get to the airport, head out to graduation, and I had a good time. It was definitely well worth it. But at the time, that is really what solidified it for me. Like, okay, these are my priorities. I'm always going to use them whenever I try to make decisions. And that's something that I live by. And my priorities were family is always first. Family's number one. After family, then comes everything else, like school and my career and all the other stuff that goes into living. Family was always number one too. And then I read this book, and then I was like, oh, dang, never mind. And the book is called Almanac of Naval Ravitkant. But it's basically this dude, super rich guy, super successful, grew up dead broke from India, came over, went to Ivy League, and then from there he went on to start companies, and now he's an investor. One of the biggest things he did was he founded AngelList, which is basically an angel investing it's an angel investing platform. And from what I understand, I don't really know it much, but angel investing is like investing in early startups or something like that. But that's basically what he spends most of his time doing. And he didn't write this book. It was actually written by someone else who really looked up to the guy and basically compiled all his podcast interviews, tweets, blog posts, all the good stuff, all the knowledge that he's put out there onto the internet. And this guy compiled everything and he put it into this book. And he basically breaks down his thoughts on success, on how to become successful, on wealth, how to become wealthy. And one of the insights that I got from the book, it was probably the biggest thing that I got immediately after listening to some summaries about it, some audiobooks. I was like, okay, that is the one thing. And the one thing is this, he had a section of the book where he's talking about happiness equation and basically breaking down his thoughts on how to live a happy life, how to be happy. Basically, he showed how success for him is about happiness. And if you're living a happy life, like for example, monks who live out there in temples and stuff, and they barely have anything to their name, they live happy lives because they love what they're doing, even though they don't have anything. And the way Naval broke it down was he said, happiness has three things. It's about health, wealth, and relationships. That is happiness for him. But the key thing is that he put health above everything else, even above his family, which when I heard, I was like, that's crazy. Why would anyone do that? But as he was explaining, I was like, okay, that actually makes sense. Because if you're not healthy, whether that's physically, mentally, for him, it was spiritually too. If you're not healthy, then you can't give anything in your relationships. If you're sick, you can't be alive for your family. If you're mentally unwell, you can't have good conversations with the people you love. And that is what completely made me question my priorities. So now I've come to something like this where I'm trying to achieve success, but success is an infinite game, right? There's no end to success, but you can achieve success. And the way you do that is by playing the game of life, playing the game of business or school or education or growth or nutrition or health, all these infinite games that really matter. You do that by playing those games and having fun while you do it, which is the key thing, is being happy as you play the game. And once you're happy while you're playing the game, that's when you achieve success. But the hard part is trying to retain success, trying to stay happy as you play the game. And this was the 3-step framework that I came to for success, for happiness, however you want to define it. But it's basically like this. First, you have to figure out what success looks like to you, what happiness looks like to you, what a happy life looks like. Because if you don't know what it is, and you don't know what you're going after, then you're just going to be doing a whole bunch of nothing. Or you'll be doing something, but have no idea where you're going. So that's the first step. Figure out what success is to you. Because for everyone, it's different. So once you've figured out what that is, then you can move on to step number 2. And that is being happy as you try to strive for that success. And being happy as you attain that success, enjoying the process. That's step number 2, because once you've achieved that, then you can move on to step number 3, which is the hardest part of it all, is trying to retain it, trying to stay happy as you play the game. So here's an analogy. I'm kind of thinking of it on the fly, but bear with me. Basically, an infinite game is health, physical health. Like you can't just lose 20, 30, 40 pounds. You can't just lose the pounds and be like, okay, I'm done. I've achieved success. That's it. Because as soon as you do that, guess what? The weight comes back on. And I know this from experience. I lost the weight. I was down to like 17% body fat. I was feeling super good about myself. It's like, man, this is awesome. I can ease off the gas a little bit. I've achieved success. And then I go into college and boom, life hits me. Big slap in the face from college. And then there I gained, I think it was about 30, 40 pounds. Got all the way up to 26% body fat. Oh my goodness. Got all the way up there because I was easing off the gas. So like, okay, I've achieved success. But I forgot step number 3, retaining that. And that is some of the biggest insights that I got from the book. So for me, I've identified my success. Basically, what Naval said was health, wealth, relationships. Those are my priorities. And the order is health is above everything else. Physical, mental, spiritual health. Those 3 things are above everything else. And then after that is my relationships with family, with friends, with people that I love. And then after all of that is wealth. So now that I've gotten clear on what success looks like for me, right now, it's just the point of trying to achieve that success. But the most important thing is trying to enjoy the journey, trying to be happy playing the game, because the game is never going to end. And the only time it does end is when I quit. Because in the game of life, in the game of nutrition, wealth, business, there's only 2 types of people, and that's players and quitters. So you can either quit the game or you can play the game. But yeah, that's just something that I wanted to share because I was listening to like commentary on the book and it just popped in my mind. It was something that I kind of came up with while listening to the audiobook. and probably thought it would be pretty good to share. Hopefully you found some value out of this. In terms of my life update, not really much. I recorded the last podcast just a couple days ago, so not really much of an update. Still just trying to put my head down and learn as much as possible, basically. But yeah.
I record these episodes completely free to share success with everyone. So the only thing I ask is that if you learned anything or found something interesting in this episode, just leave a review and share it with a friend. Only takes 5 seconds and it would mean the world. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next episode. Tatok, see you.